So, made a couple mistakes about the last MGSCON3 breakdown experience video, so let's give this a second try. Well, what's going on there, guys? Brian here, D3 Topics Gamer, and I have a kind of semi-update kind of redo video to share with you guys today. Now, about, I want to say either a week or 2 weeks ago, probably a week, I updated or technically uploaded a video kind of going over my experience, my personal experience at MGSCON3, which I do believe was on the 23rd of August. So I'm filming this on the 9th of September, so I think the convention was about 3 weeks ago. And since then, a number of people that actually worked with the convention directly contacted me and informed me that there was some information from my previous video that I got wrong in terms of information. So I felt very bad, so I took that video down, and I feel like doing a second follow-up video just kind of to fix a couple of those errors. That way I can get out the proper information, because I do believe that this convention was a massive success. I did have a lot of fun, and I just personally want to talk about my experience. I can't speak for how everyone else's experience went, but I'm just speaking for my experience and what I saw and what I experienced, and just overall, just my overall thoughts, as well as to make sure I give out the right information so everyone can, get some proper information. So if you do happen to enjoy this little updated video of mine, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to keep track of me on my future videos. And remember, if any of you guys have any ideas for any future videos you'd like me to upload for my channel, please let me know what you'd like to see in the comments down below, and I will try to get to you as soon as I can. So, starting off first thing I want to just knock it out of the park was the attendance count. Now, in my last video, the numbers that I gave out were strictly following the numbers of confirmed people that supported the Kickstarter. I did not take into account that they also were selling tickets that weren't directly from Kickstarter, so I didn't count for those numbers. So to kind of give the most accurate numbers that were given to me by a friend in terms of actual attendees for each year. So starting off with MGSCON3, because I have actually gone to all three of these events, and they were all incredibly wonderful and fun. But MGSCON1 was held in a small area, and roughly about 300 people actually attended. Now we jump to the following year, which is MGSCON2, and roughly 500 people showed up. But apparently there was a crowd strike. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but it actually made it so that a lot of people didn't actually show to the con that wanted to. Again, I actually did not notice that last year, so I do apologize. But for this year, for MGSCON3, this definitely had a massive, massive crowd. Over 1,000 people showed up, and apparently they actually they had a limit to the amount of people that could actually come. So they actually sold out completely. So to have 1,000 people show up is actually pretty impressive, because I don't believe that there was ever 1,000 people at the convention center at one time. I don't think that happened, but there was definitely a lot more people that showed up, and it didn't feel crowded at all, because the convention center that they picked was the Ontario Convention Center that I actually had been to a few years before at a Comic-Con. So the fact that they actually had a much bigger area to work with meant that it was much easier to kind of get around. So that was a major positive. So going into the actual convention itself, again, as I stated, this was held at the Ontario Convention Center, which out of all the MGS cons that they have set up, this was definitely my favorite because of its location. Its location, when compared to the motel that I was staying at, which was literally like a 5-minute walk. So that was a major plus. So I kind of went from MGSCON1, which was in the same building, to MGSCON2, which I actually had to drive a while to get there, to just having it be right next door that I could actually walk 5 minutes to get to my motel. So that was a major plus. When it came to the actual layout of the convention center itself, it was very, very organized. They pretty much had the same set of rooms that they had at MGSCON2, but they were just bigger. They were a lot bigger, they could hold more people, so there was at no point did it any time feel cramped. The 5 rooms that they did have, just to kind of go over the program that they gave to all of us, they had a badge room, which you could pick up your badges and pick up your gifts if you happen to get some of the higher support like tiers. They had a game room, it had a number of games, which I will talk about later. They had a signing room, an artist alley, and a panel room. Now, in my last video, I did state that I didn't think that there was too many, they didn't really add anything new things, but apparently there were some new things added. I just personally, while I was there, didn't notice them. So I kind of want to go through them room by room. Starting off with the game room. The game room was definitely the biggest game room that I believe they've ever worked with. And this time, they actually made sure to add more stations that you could play the majority of Metal Gear Solid games. Now, my friend Mary, who gave me this information, stated that all Metal Gear games were there, but I don't think every Metal Gear game was there because a lot of the portable games were not there. So I didn't see anyone playing any of the Acid games, I didn't see anyone playing Portable Hops, and I certainly didn't see anyone playing Metal Gear Solid on Game Boy, which, again, I'm just being funny, but I'm just like, and heck, even Snake's Revenge, which technically is not officially a Metal Gear game, that would have been funny if someone could get someone playing Snake's Revenge Metal Gear 2. I'm just saying that would have been funny to see. But yeah, that was a very good thing that they had there. They also had a station in the corner on the left that had like a display, but you couldn't get close to it. Now, personally, I was a little bit sad that we couldn't at least get close to the statue. I would have loved to have taken a selfie or just get an up close picture of me with that giant naked snake statue, which I thought was cool. But yeah, they had it closed off. I'm just saying, I mean, they could have had someone stand guard. I think I did see, I may be wrong, I can't confirm this. I think maybe I did see one person get an up close picture of them taking a selfie with it. I'm just saying that's something I would have loved to have done, but I did understand that there was like a number of cool things that were on the table that they didn't want people touching. Perfectly understandable, but again, next time, I would love to get a picture with that statue because I've seen that statue for years. I've always wanted to get a picture up close with it. That's just what I thought. There was also this one kind of like stick Metal Gear station that I wasn't too familiar with. It looked kind of cool. I didn't actually play it for much, but I thought it was cool that it was there. That was just definitely something new. And while I was in the game room, I did happen to really be in there for like an hour over the course of the day. I did spend like 30 minutes playing Peace Walker and 30 minutes playing Metal Gear Solid 4, but I really didn't spend too much time in the game room. And there were a number of hosts there, and there apparently was a tournament where someone could actually win a trophy. But again, I really wasn't in the game room too much, but apparently there's a lot of things that did happen over the course of the day. Going into the signing room. The signing room apparently did have more voice actors show up, and because it was a much bigger room, I think it actually handled the size of people. Now, I actually did go in there to have something of mine sign up, but I just kind of felt like I was in line for like an hour, and therefore I decided, you know what, well, the next time they do a convention like this, I'll better prepare, because I just felt like I didn't want to be in line for too long. But the line went, the second time I went into the signing room, the line really went around the walls of the entire room. So that kind of showed you that there was like a lot of people and a lot of cool voice actors there. So yeah, I hope everyone had just a great time. That was interesting. They also had the artist alley, and a lot more artists showed up this time around. Now, I personally did pick up a couple of things, and like maybe like 2 t-shirts, which I'm actually wearing one right now. So there was a lot of cool artwork, a lot of cool merchandise. There was even a lot of cool plushes that I saw people pick up. So that was very, very cool. And the panel room was definitely the biggest panel room that I've seen up to this point out of these 3 convention centers. It easily held the most amount of people. I think it could have held, I mean, just looking at it, I'm guessing close to well over 300 people. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm just throwing a general guess. So that was very interesting. They had a number of cool panels. However, me personally, I was really only interested in 2 events in there, and that was the panel that happened, just double checking, that happened at 2 o'clock, which they pretty much was the Snake Eater Legacy panel, and the cosplay contest that happened at 6:30. I was there for both of them for a while, and that was very, very fun. The cosplay contest is always like a highlight of my day, and that was a great time there. A couple of interesting things that they did add that I just didn't notice the first time is they did add a photo booth, and the reason I didn't say that was I didn't really notice it was because for the 2 previous years they had always had like a kind of like a backdrop that you could take pictures for. But this time rather, they actually had it so that it was like an actual square booth that you could take pictures in, and it was themed, so I did think that was very cool. I just didn't seem to notice the first time, and I know a lot of people used it. While I was there, I saw a lot of incredible cosplays. Everyone there was very super nice. The energy was great. At no point did it ever feel crowded, which I'm gonna say this. I actually didn't think MGSCON2 was too crowded. The only time it ever got crowded was when they were trying to get the cosplay contest set up. That was the only time it ever felt crowded. But other than that, I thought how they handled things in MGSCON2 was fine. But the extra space here was definitely well handled. It definitely was able to handle the extra amount of people that showed up. This place also did have a food and drink vendor on site. However, I do recall at MGSCON2 there was a food place you could go to, but you had to go down a set of stairs to get there. But fortunately, you didn't have to deal with that this time. It was like really right across the entrance of the main hallway for MGSCON3. They had a good amount of food. The lines were never really too long. And they also had a space that you could rest while you're eating or not doing anything at the con. Now, me personally, the fact that I was actually like 5 minutes away from the convention center, I didn't actually stay at the rest site. I actually left about 2 times just to take like 2 1-hour naps, just because while I was there wasn't too much for me to actually do if I wasn't at the panels and after I was done buying all the stuff I needed at the Artist Alley. And since I had pretty much given up on the panels and I didn't really feel like going and playing anything in the game room for too long, because I was in there like twice, but that was just my experience. But I know that there was certainly a lot of things for all of the other attendees to do, and I'm sure that they had a lot of fun. There's definitely a level of enhancement over last year, which is good, because I can only imagine what MGSCON4 is going to be like, which isn't going to happen next year, but it is going to happen in 2027. And while I was actually in line in the signing room, I was actually told by someone, I'm not sure if this is correct, but the plan was they actually didn't want to have MGSCon this year. They actually wanted to push to next year, but I think they did it this year because I think they took advantage of the fact that, you know, a new Metal Gear game was coming, and surprisingly, they actually planned this the day before Hideo Kojima's birthday, so I thought that was even cooler. So they took full advantage of the popularity of a new Metal Gear game coming out, and I thought that was absolutely a brilliant decision, and no doubt it absolutely paid off. They also apparently hired an AV team to enhance the quality of the panels in the digital convention, which I didn't actually get to see personally, but apparently it was there because there were a number of people who couldn't get there in person that were able to check out the convention center digitally, and apparently it ran incredibly smooth, so that was a major plus there. And yeah, overall, I just think that it was great. There was only really one thing there that I hadn't done at the 2 previous MGS cons that I will probably do at MGSCON4 when it happens in 2 years. I'm going to keep that a secret, but for those that know me know what I was trying to do, but for whatever one reason or another, it didn't end up happening. But I do plan to kind of really put a lot more effort to making sure that that secret plan that I had, because I'd spoken to a number of people, goes through, because that was something I really wanted to do, but I just didn't get a chance to do it this year. So overall, I think my experience was great. I will admit I did have a little bit more. I just had a little bit more fun at MGSCON2, but MGSCON3 was great. I hope that when it comes back in 2 years, it is at that convention center, and hopefully maybe they are able to like bring in a few extra more people, because the amount of people that were there was a good amount, and there was, as far as I could tell, there were absolutely no issues. So that was just my general experience in terms of things that I saw, things I experienced, and the correct information of things that were definitely added to this year. So I hope I got that right. Now, just to kind of share the things that I picked up in terms of like gifts. I actually did get the boss tier when I got my tickets off Kickstarter, and they did give us a number of really cool items. One of the cool items that they did give me is this awesome plush of Snake, frog style, which I gotta admit, I do think is a little bit cooler than the Fat Man figure that they gave us at MGSCon2. So I've actually been keeping these two together, and they actually look pretty cool together. Next thing that they gave us is this kind of backpack sling hybrid which I'm gonna be honest, I only wish that this was a little bit bigger. It doesn't have to be like a big size backpack, but I'm just saying if it had been just like a little bigger, I could have actually fit more stuff and I would have carried this on it. And they also gave us this little tag here that fit pretty well and looks really cool. So there was that. They also did have a scavenger hunt that I sadly didn't take part in because I was just busy doing a bunch of other things. And another thing, they also gave us a hat, which I was like wearing this one a lot, but I also switched to this from time to time. And it's a pretty good hat. It actually fits my head size pretty well, so that's a major plus. And in terms of the items that I did purchase, I purchased this shirt and another white shirt that had the boss on it, which pretty much has the artwork of the main badge. It's going to be a little bit hard to see, but that's pretty much what is on that shirt, and it's pretty cool. And in terms of artwork, I think I picked up 3 images that were pretty cool, and I know one of them, let's see, there's that one. It's actually that one. It's actually really cool. And then they had, I know there's one other one in here. And then there's this one. That one's also pretty cool too. And there's a third one that I know is here. And that one is actually gonna go, as soon as I get the frame for it, on my wall next to, it's like right here, because that right here, that's the MGSCON3 poster that they gave us at the first con. And then here's the next, yeah, I'm actually gonna put these two on my wall next to them. So this is the MGSCON2 poster, this is the MGSCON3 poster. So those, as soon as I get frames, will actually go on the wall right next to the MGSCON1 poster there. So I didn't get as much stuff as I did, and I sadly didn't get the thing that I brought through to get signed, but I will be sure to prepare better for that when MGSCON4 happens in 2027. So overall, I had a great experience. Now, if you did happen to see yourself in any of the footage that I showed or have any questions, please let me know in the comments down below. And if you were there, how did your experience go? So hopefully this video gives out the proper information, is a lot more positive, because I really did have a great time. I can't wait to go to MGSCON4 in 2 years. And yeah, that's about everything. I think I covered everything. So again, I want to thank you guys for watching. You're all awesome, and I'll see you guys next time.